All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving our praise to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, by Shem Makor Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone that rule well. Salutations to the hopeful elect, pushing this word and sincerity and truth on the four corners of the earth. I'm just back with another quick lesson. I actually did a video, the last video I did was about the U.S. using the virtual reality simulation to, of course, simulate nuclear warfare, battlefield, type of environment for the soldiers to like have a glimpse at it. All right, which clearly indicates that nuclear war is imminent, right? But within that article, which was actually on RT News, alluded to a treaty that I honestly wasn't aware of that America, of course, broke. All right, called the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty, which was a treaty that they had with Russia. All right, which matter of fact, I'm Psalms 55 and 20, he have put forth his hands against such as be with peace with him. He have broken his covenant. This is speaking about Esau, who you know is a so-called white man. All right, this is MO. All right, whenever he makes a treaty, he ends up breaking the treaty. All right, he doesn't know how to keep his word. He doesn't know how to execute the things that he says he's going to do. All right. It says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. All right, and that's the MO of Esau. You can go back to our people. All right, Gad and Reuben, which what you know them as Native and Seminole Indians, right? They had all kind of treaties with the so-called Native Americans, and well, Reuben wasn't really signing the treaties. They knew. You know, that's kind of like the older brother wisdom. You know what I'm saying? They knew, but they had over hundreds and hundreds of treaties with the Native Americans, and they broke them all. And that's the same spirit that they are in as they deal with the other nations, the other heathen nations. Heathen nations being the nations outside of the nation of Israel. Nation of Israel being you Negro, Latino, Native, and Seminole Indian. All right, you all. All right, begin back into the article. All right, it goes into this the truce breakers, the treaty breakers, America. Right. So it says America withdraws from the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty. The Trump administration's latest move brings back Cold War fears. All right, and we know the Cold War was a war between America and Russia. America and Russia is gonna be like the biggest power players in this war that's coming. All right, World War III. All right, and this is an old article. It's just the last video that I did alluded to this, and I didn't really know what it was. So I looked it up. It says the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty, INF, has been a pillar of arms control for over 30 years. Arms control being artillery, weaponry that that these countries may obtain or try to build. It was kind of like a buffer, like put a cap on it, like you can only do so much. All right. It says, but in recent years, it has been crumbling. On October 20th, President Donald Trump announced that he intended to withdraw America from the treaty and build up missiles until Russia. Hold on. Shalakia. Donald Trump announced that he intended to withdraw America from the treaty and build up missiles until Russia, believed to be cheating on the pact, and China, which never signed it, came to their senses. All right. Which is probably a lie. Not probably, man. That shit a lie, man. America just make up shit for the excuse my language, but they just make up things for the people to eat up. All right. When in all actuality, they were probably the ones that was cheating on the pact. It says on February 1st, he pulled the plug after Russia failed to meet a deadline to come into compliance with the treaty. Even before America withdrawal takes effect in 6 months, the ripples are likely to be felt from Europe to Asia. It says, and Russia is they Edomites too. So even if they did break the pact, it ain't surprising that an Edomite makes an agreement and then breaks it. Y'all all Edomites. You know? It says the INF treaty has its origins in the Euro missile crisis of the late 1970s and early 80s. The Soviet Union's deployment of SS-20 and advanced and accurate missiles that could strike most of Europe from deep within Russia alarmed Europe. America has short-range missiles in Europe which cannot reach Soviet territory, and long-range ones at home and abroad, and aboard submarines, but nothing in this middle category. It says if the Soviets attack Europe with the SS-20, America would be forced to escalate to its biggest weapons. European allies fretted that it would not do so. To assuage, excuse me if I'm pronouncing that wrong, to assuage these concerns and to force the Soviet Union to change course, America deployed the Pershing II ballistic missile and a new ground-launched cruise missile into Europe. That in turn worried the Soviet Union. This is going back to the Cold War. These could reach Moscow in under 10 minutes, potentially forcing leaders into a panicky response. Anti-nuclear process roiled Europe as the new weapon rolled in. The INF treaty cut through this knot. It prohibited not only the offending Soviet and American missiles, but also the flight testing, development, and deployment of all ground-based missiles, both nuclear and conventional, with ranges between 300 and 3,300 miles. Almost 3,000 existing weapons were destroyed, with the Soviet Union getting rid of twice as. So basically, this treaty, this INF treaty, Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty, all right, that was signed back in the times of the Cold War. It was basically like what you would call a ceasefire. You know what I'm saying? We're going to destroy the missiles. We're not going to use them, and woo, 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 right? But the scriptures prophesied that America and Russia, okay, is going to get into it anyway as it pertains to war. So let me jump to Ezekiel. This that's 20. It's Ezekiel, just right quick. It's Shalaki. So Ezekiel 38. Let's start at Alright, it's Ezekiel 38, and I'm gonna start at 4. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Swords just being synonymous with weapons. And this is talking about Gog and Magog, which is modern day Russia. All right, so the Most High said He's gonna put hooks in our jaws. When you put hooks in somebody's jaw, like a fish, when a fish is on the hook and the hook in their jaw, you pulling them where you want them to go, right? So the Most High is pulling them back into the Soviet Union spirit, right? And the Soviet Union has been mentioned. That was another name for Russia. I believe that was like the 90s, not the 90s, but damn, was that the 60s? Slocky, slipping, but I'm pretty sure it was the 60s. The Soviet Union was prominent, but the Most High is pulling them back into that spirit, man. That spirit of hating America, that Hitler spirit. Hitler hated America, man. That's why America, he's a Edomite anyway, but that's why America shows Hitler in such a bad light, because he was exposing things about America, exposing the elite, exposing the things that they do in the dark, all right? Even to the point where he he was talking about how America stole the Israelites, man. So the Most High is gonna put Vladimir Putin in that spirit against America. That's the hooks in his jaws. Gonna pull him back. So this is why this is no surprise. And this is an older article. I just learned what the intermediate range nuclear forces treaty was. But it's just no surprise that America and Russia is beefing on a low. It's not on the low to us, but to y'all it's on the low. Because you'll see Trump go talk to Putin at a G22, 2220, whatever the fuck it is, G220 summit. And you think everything good, but on the low they making power moves. And this was months ago. I wasn't even aware of this, But going back to the scripture, the Most High is pulling them back in that Soviet Union spirit. They don't trust America. That's why they backed out of the treaty. Whoever, and they all Edomites, so they are truce breakers and treaty breakers. But whether it was Russia who did it first or America who did it first, that shows a tension and a distrust amongst those two nations, which is going to ultimately lead to war, right? But it says, why has the agreement now snapped? The most important reason is Russian cheating. And mind you, this is probably an American writer, so who knows? America might have cheated or whoever. But they are Edomites, so they are truce breakers. It says America and its NATO allies accuse Russia of flight testing and then deploying an INF range cruise missile called the 9M729. Russia displayed the missile at a military theme park outside Moscow on January 23rd without convincing anyone of its bona fides. I don't know what that means. Another nail in the Pac's coffin was China. In the 2000s, Vladimir Putin toyed with the idea of leaving the deal as other states, including a rising China, whose relationship with Russia remained testy, were racking up non-nuclear intermediate-range missiles. As ties between Russia and China warmed, these concerns faded. It became America's turn to worry that China was accumulating missiles beyond the treaty's grasp, while America had put its own aboard expensive and scarce ships, submarines, and aircraft. Many in the Pentagon see a golden opportunity to redress the missile balance in Asia. It says, should the treaty collapse in the summer, now it seems likely there will be several consequences. Russia might build up the intermediate range missiles aimed at Europe. These can include not only the 9M729, but also the RS-26 Rubiza. It says an intercontinental ballistic missile that has been tested at range near the upper limit of the INF. Hence NATO's warning on February 1st of significant risks to Euro-Atlantic security. In turn, America will speed up its pursuit of matching capability. Officials admit that research is in the early stages. A working missile is at least a year away. Any missile race might also spell trouble for the New START treaty, a U.S.-Russian arms control deal that covers mostly longer range weapons due to be renewed in 2021, which it will not be renewed because the beef is already starting, man. It says, if such missiles do materialize, putting them anywhere useful will require virtuoso diplomacy. European leaders will shy away from accepting them, perhaps more so after Mr. Putin's threat on October 24th, which this was last year, that hosts would expose their territory to the threat of a possible retaliatory strike. If America were to cut a deal with, it's like I lost my damn where I was. If America were to cut a deal with one or two more enthusiastic allies like Poland over NATO's head, it would shake the alliance. A major summit is due in March, ahead of the organization's 70th birthday in April. It is less clear how Asian allies will respond. Japanese diplomats are cagey. South Korea's dovish government is unlikely to play ball. Guam, a heavily forested island, might be the likeliest option, though this distance from China might count against it. All right, and I'm not gonna, because they want you to, let's say join for free, but I'm gonna stop right here. I just wanted to make the point of, Russia and America's tension, and also, the truce breaking of Edomites. Man. All right, all these treaties that's being signed, obviously they don't matter because everybody's breaking them, or everybody's trying to find a way to finagle their way out of it, man. You know, which this being an American article, which I believe, I just think this is America's way to try to finagle their way out of it. Well, Russia doing this, so we ain't doing this. You know, they testing missiles, so we gotta have some missiles, man. All right, mind you that America has been suppressing everybody to have missiles for all these years. Now, as soon as somebody has missiles, they scared, and that's that guilt, man. All right. But it's verse 7 in that Ezekiel 38. Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself. This is still talking about Gog and Magog, which is modern day Russia. Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company, meaning your allies, that are assembled unto thee, and be a guard unto them. Because Russia is the big dog on the eastern side of the world. Say Russia, China, you know. But Russia is really the big dog over there. So they going to be a guard unto all these nations. All right. See America over there currently fucking with Iran. Russia's gonna eventually step in, man. Cause they once again they the big dog on the eastern side of the world, man. You know what I'm saying? But I just wanted to make that quick video. I hope it was edifying. With that, I'm gonna say shalom.